I was watching the broadcast last night. By the way, Golf Channel, Rich Lerner is the host. It is great. You guys do a wonderful
Thank you.
job.
Thank you. Rich is amazing.
And what stood out was your comments about Rory McIlroy, because the number of people who said to me after he won at the Masters, oh boy, now the pressure's off. Now you're going to see Rory go out there and just, take down people. But your commentary was, I text Fritzy right away. I said, see if Brandel will join us, because you were pointing out something to the contrary with Rory McIlroy. And then you brought up Ben Hogan as well. So enlighten our audience on what you said last night.
Yeah, I don't think that Rory's necessarily lost his form as he's lost his focus. And there is some precedent for that. Ben Hogan, mind you, he was 40 when he did it, and Rory's in his mid-30s. But Ben Hogan, in 1953, had never played the Open Championship, went over and played the Open. Now, he won it and completed the career Grand Slam and had the best year in the history of golf to that point in major championships. And the idea was that's it. He's going to go on a torrent for the next, 4 or 5 years. And he had won 25% of his golf tournaments at that point in his career. And he would play 53 times after that on the PGA Tour and win just one other golf tournament. And that was 6 years later, 1959. He won one time after completing the career Grand Slam. So, I think there's this huge sense of accomplishment. It's not unique to golf. We see it in all the arts and other sports where somebody climbs that mountain and they realize, they lose their focus. They lose the sort of creativity and the inspiration that it took to achieve what they did. And they struggle to find it again. And it's a very small sample size thus far. It's just 3 or 4 tournaments for Rory. But I've never seen him play this poorly. I've never seen him look this disorganized. He's never had a tournament where he played as bad as he did at the Canadian Open, his last outing. And he said it, Dan. Dan, in the media center, he says, yeah, it's really hard for me to get out and go hit balls for 3 or 4 hours. And I'm not aiming at anything. And I don't really have any long-term goals anymore. And I think I said, look, if you were a coach and you had heard a quarterback talking like that, you'd bench him.
Yeah.
You're like, you can't play if you can't find the focus to play at your best. This game is really hard to play at the high level if you are focused. Nobody is talented enough without the fire, burning white hot in them to compete at the highest level.
But you can kind of see him, and you guys discussed body language when he's meeting with the media. It just feels different, that you're almost exhaling, whereas Tiger was inhaling. Like he was like, yeah, I won. Okay, what's next? And granted, there's nobody like him. Even David Duval, he got to the mountain. He's like, I think I want to come down off the mountain.
Yeah.
But understanding, and Rory does, what I love about him, he's one of my favorite interviews because he does listen to what you're asking him. And he does give you something that feels like it's not robotic there. But just
100%.
Watching the body language,
it
just feels like he's kind of there to, be the Grand Master, Grand Marshal there. Harry, here I am.
Yes.
Hi. And that's about it.
So true. Yeah, I think he's the best interview in golf. I've asked other writers who's the best interview in golf is. They all just unanimously on the men's side say Rory McIlroy. Nothing sated Tiger Woods. I mean, he wanted to name all the mountains and the rivers. I think Rory is at a point in his life where he wants to enjoy his life. He wants to drink some nice wine. He wants to take some trips with his buddies. He's got his fingers in a lot of pies in the business world. I'm pretty sure he's worth billions, or on his way to being worth billions. And he's taken a leadership role in a lot of different ventures. So I think, he's just different. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's such a great interview, is because he is insightful. He is bright. He thinks about a lot of different things. And I think he's got a lot of different interests. Can he find his way back to focus? I hope so, because I was joking. I mean, he was put on this earth to play golf like Leonardo da Vinci was put on this earth to paint angels. I mean, they just don't come around like Rory very often. And I'm sure he's great at all these other things. But that man was put on this earth to play some golf.